All right, you guys, today we're going to be jumping into lesson 2 in our ratios and proportions unit, and we're going to be talking about how we can find unit rates with ratios as fractions. So before we found unit rates, and now we're going to do them with ratios, with our fractions in our ratios. So let's jump into example 1. Bronwyn mows the lawn every other weekend. She can mow 12,000 feet in 2/3 of an hour. So I'm going to set that up in my ratio form. So we can do 12,000 feet in 2/3 of an hour. But now it's saying that the lawn is 36,000 feet. So how long is it going to take us to, or is it going to take her to mow that lawn? So first things first, I want to find my unit rate. I want to figure out how much of her lawn she can mow in just 1 hour, because then I can figure out how long it's going to take us to mow 36,000 feet. So just like with unit rates here, if we're going from 2/3, we want to find our unit rates, we need to divide. So we need to divide by 2/3 here. Now, hopefully we remember when we are dividing with fractions, we want to do our keep, change, flip. So I'm going to do keep, change, flip. So we keep the first fraction the same, so 2/3 stays the same. We change division to multiplication, and we flip that second fraction. Now you can simplify here before you multiply, because we can cancel all of these out and turn them into 1. And our answer here would just be 1. That would get us to 1 hour. You also could have just multiplied straight across. You would have gotten 6/6, which is the same as 1. So either or. But basically what this is telling us is because we divided by 2/3 on the bottom, we need to do to the same to the top. So we need to divide 12,000 feet by 2/3. Or we know, if we do our keep, change, flip, we can say that we are multiplying by, oops, that is a bad 3, by 3/2. So we have 12,000 for 1 times 3/2. Reminder, you guys can use your calculator. Just make sure whatever you're putting in your calculator, when we were doing Math Excel or any of our Explore activities, we are writing that down. So if we do 12,000 times 3, that would get us to 36,000. And if we do 2 times 1, that is 2. And now we just have to divide here. Remember, whenever you set something up in fraction form, that's really telling you to divide. So 36,000 divided by 2 is 18,000. So what this is saying is in 1 hour, she can mow a lawn 18,000 feet. So now that I know how much she can mow in just 1 hour, now I can set this up, because now I want to figure out how long it's going to take us to mow 36,000 feet. So now this is where we can figure out, what are we multiplying 18,000 by to get 36,000? To do that, I'm actually going to divide. I'm going to do 36,000 divided by 18,000. So I am multiplying by 2 to get to 36,000. Whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. So 1 times 2 is 2. So what this is telling us is that to mow a lawn that's 36,000 feet, it would take her 2 hours. Let's try another one. Pam and Jake drive trucks for a produce company. One day, Pam drove 102 miles in 1.5 hours. So Pam drove 102 miles in 1.5 hours. And Jake drove 54 miles in 3/4 hour. Who drove at a faster rate? So I, again, want to find my unit rate here. So I want to divide, but first what I want to do is I want to turn this mixed number into an improper fraction. So if we don't remember how to do that, whole number times denominator plus our numerator. So I would have 102 stays the same. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So I would have 3 over 2. All I want to do here to find my unit rate is I want to divide. I want to do 102 divided by 3/2. And I want to do 54 divided by 3/4. Reason being is because we are traveling at 2 different times. So Pam is driving 3/2 of an hour and Jake is driving 3/4 of an hour. We want to figure out how fast they're driving in 1 hour so we can actually compare the two. Let's go ahead and calculate these out. So again, when we're dividing with fractions, we're doing keep, change, flip. So we're doing 102. I'm going to write this as a fraction. Change division to multiplication and flip my fraction. So now I'm just going to multiply straight across. I have 102 times 2 and 1 times 3. 102 times 2 is 204. 3 times 1 is 3. Actually divide these out. 204 divided by 3 is 68. So Pam is driving 68 miles per hour. And now for Jake, we have, I'm gonna use a different color here, 54 over 1. Change division to multiplication, flip that second fraction. Again, if you want to try simplifying beforehand, you can, or you can simplify after. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys simplify before, just as a refresher. So we look across. 1 and 4 we can't do anything with, but 3 and 54 we can. We can divide both of these numbers by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 54 divided by 3 is 18. So now I have 18 times 4, which is 72 over 1. So what this is saying is that Jake is driving 72 miles in 1 hour. So now we can actually compare them because we have the same length. We're both going in 1 hour. So who is driving faster? Jake is. He's driving more miles per hour. All right, let's try one more. Claire boarded an airplane in Richmond, Virginia and flew 414 miles directly to Charleston, South Carolina. So she flew 414 miles. And the total flight time was 3/4 of an hour. How fast did Claire's airplane fly miles per hour? So again, unit rate, we want to find per hour. Right now, we don't know what our per hour is. So we want to divide to find our unit rate. So we have 414 over 1. And we're really dividing by 3/4. But remember, when we're dividing by a fraction, we want to do keep, change, flip. So we're going to change division to multiplication and flip our second fraction. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and simplify again before I multiply, make it a little bit easier on myself. 1 and 4, we know are in simplest form, but 3 and 414, we can simplify here. We can divide both of these by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 414 divided by 3 is 138. So now I can just multiply straight across. 138 times 4 is 552, and 1 times 1 is 1. So she is traveling 552 miles per hour.